Look, y'all, before we get into this video, I'm sorry because I don't know why, but my mic was not really working correctly. So I'm going to sound very quiet, and there's going to be some points in this video you won't be able to hear me. Hopefully you guys still enjoy the video, man, and let's just get into it. Yo, what's good, y'all? In this video, we doing another Seth the Programmer reaction. Today, we reacting to how strong is full power Krillin. So look, y'all be sleeping on Krillin, man. Krillin don't get enough credit. He really is, like, he's weak in the Dragon Ball verse, but like compared to basically any other anime verse, he's actually real strong. Let's just get into this video, man. Just so y'all know, I always be doing these One Punch Man comparisons, but like I say, the One Punch Man fans need to be humbled.
Before we begin the video, I need to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Naraka Blade Point. Naraka Blade Point is a hero battle royale game that features fast-paced melee combat, insane mobility powered by a grappler. Check them out. Krillin, originally just some bullied martial arts kid who wanted to prove everyone wrong, sails to the island of the hailed god of martial arts, Master Roshi, and
hope everybody watching this video has watched OG Dragon Ball. Let me know in the comments, have you guys watched OG Dragon Ball? I feel like a lot of people skipped out on it. Nobody should skip out on OG Dragon Ball. That's true.
Despite being just a human, he works himself to exhaustion day in and day out, alongside his fellow student Son Goku, a low-class Saiyan fighter literally from outer space, who was destined to become extremely powerful by Earth standards from the start. After lots and lots of training and ambition, Krillin becomes so powerful he can beat his old bullies with single hits and send them flying off the strongest under the heavens tournament arena. While he definitely accomplished his goal of becoming probably an extremely powerful martial artist on Earth, in fact, one of the strongest ever, period, Krillin made many friends that pushed him to want to go even higher to keep fighting with them and keep up their friendly rivalries. But one day, these beings from the heavens would begin to attack Earth, and Krillin would go from trying to fight in a tournament for strongest under the heavens to fighting the strongest in all of the universe, period. After training under God, Krillin obtains new powers, including a technique unique to him that even people like the dominator of the universe, Frieza, who's very egotistical by the way, and the hyper-optimized fighting super weapon Cell would straight up steal from him because it was so good, and this technique allowed Krillin to even get the edge on a mid-class to elite Saiyan named Nappa, who could quite literally nuke moons with just a flick of his two fingers. Krillin at one point during this counter even gets so enraged he one-shots multiple beings called Cybermen who all have a power level of 1200, all stronger than Piccolo, who vaporized the moon with one hand before the Saiyan saga even revved up. But Krillin here has a power level of 1770, meaning he can easily even defeat God.
They was blowing them moons. Come on now. Roshi blew up the moon. Always remember that. OG Dragon Ball. Hit him with the Kamehameha, blew up the moon.
Goku's older brother Raditz from the start of Z, who was one-shotting all the contenders for the strongest in the Budokai Tenkaichi just not too long ago. And while Krillin wasn't strong enough to just solo the Saiyan saga, his bonds with his friends would take him even higher. And in an attempt to rescue and revive all those he couldn't protect, he goes deep into outer space to a planet named Namek, which is actually God's home planet. And to face all of the strongest conquerors the universe has ever seen, all in one setting. While just being a normal human in the verse, no special tricks, except for Destructo Disc and maybe Solar Flare. While on Namek, he has his potential unleashed by the Elder Guru, and this makes Krillin skyrocket in relevancy, going from a level of around 1700 to 2000 to 13,000, which is strong enough to even blitz a member of Frieza's elite squadron, the Ginyu Force's Goldo, who possesses the ability to straight up stop time. A power level of 10,000 is noted to even be able to destroy a planet in El Manga Legendarium, but in Dragon Ball, planets like Earth are considered small by people like King Cold, who should know a lot about planets as he kind of ruled the universe. So 10,000 might be enough to destroy even large or massive planets. This might explain why people like King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta in anime filler can so easily just wipe out planets and their moons with simple attacks even while suppressed. This unleashing of Krillin's potential
Cannot stress this enough. That is the difference between Dragon Ball and all of these verses. I'm gonna keep saying.
Unknown to most doesn't actually give him all of the power up immediately. It makes it grow, so over time he grows faster as well. To the point he is fighting a power level of over 23,000 just shortly later that day against Captain Ginyu and Goku's body alongside a potential unleashed Gohan. Then later, he faces Frieza in his second form, who has a power level of over 1 million and almost just straight up kills him with a Destructo Disc. In V-Jump, Krillin here has a level of 75,000 when he does this, meaning he can one-shot and chop people in half over 13 times stronger than he is. And he doesn't even need to charge up the attack that long, like, say, Piccolo's Special Beam Cannon or the Spirit Bomb. Krillin also is able to evade second form Frieza here for quite a bit, and actually even annoys him, even possessing the Solar Flare to blind people over 13 times stronger than himself.
You just fighting this bald little small man, he solar flares you, you go completely blind and he just start hitting you with crazy I'll be furious. Once that solar flare is over, I'm killing you
as well. Remember, even in his first form, Frieza nukes a planet that had over 10 times Earth's gravity and mass with just one finger while laughing, and he destroyed it so violently, in fact, people comment that the energy required to even mimic this would actually destroy dwarf stars. Yet Krillin almost is one-shotting this guy in his transformed, almost twice his strong state with a Destructo Disc. Now, just imagine if he actually just solar flared and Destructo Disced him here like all those memes and ended the entire arc. It would have been utterly insane. Unfortunately, outside of some anime scenes like Krillin tackling first form Cell and showing up to the battlefield where it is only stated only Super Saiyan level fighters should arrive, Krillin falls off for the rest of Dragon Ball Z. The only real things that happen is maybe like one last anime scene that is extremely insane is Krillin in the afterlife, where Yamcha is shown to one-tap 2 otherworld fighters, including Olibu. And Olibu is basically the guy who all really old heroic legends from the North Galaxy and Earth are inspired by, and even gives Pikkon a good fight. And Pikkon, who, while not even trying, can easily one-shot Super Perfect Cell, and this is confirmed in guidebooks as well, and Frieza and King Cole. Krillin is then considered the strongest Earthling, and Yamcha thinks Krillin is even stronger than him. And even during the scene, Krillin is actually not that impressed that he one-shot Olibu. It is more of a Yamcha feat, but everyone would agree Krillin probably scales above Yamcha, or at least to him, as Yamcha is known not to really train, and Krillin stays in shape all the time because of 18's lectures. Even if you think Krillin is weaker than anime Yamcha for whatever reason, in Super, Krillin undoubtedly surpasses him, which I'll get into soon. Anyway, the significance of this is even post-Cell games, Goku says he can't believe how strong Olibu is and can barely keep up with their fight at all. Then in the Buu Saga, Krillin and Yamcha are basically one-shotting him. Remember, Super Perfect Cell can nuke solar systems and beyond, and he's stronger than ever. And Krillin, in the anime at least, not the manga, might be able to actually do this to Cell, if not actually face him in a fight, but it is only in the anime. And remember, these otherworld fighters, which is an anime-only arc, have been training for tens of thousands of years, and even Cell Saga Goku was completely blown away by how impressive they are. In Dragon Ball Super, Krillin becomes so strangely overpowered, it makes the crazy possible Buu Saga anime Krillin actually look like nothing. In Super, Krillin has to train with 18 and Goku to get back in shape to eventually train for the Tenkaichi Budokai, but on a multiversal scale, against the strongest beings in reality, period. He takes this so seriously, he develops a new technique called Solar Flare times 100, which not only blinds his opponents, but completely removes all of their senses. They can't even sense his energy in the air anymore after being hit by it, and using this technique, he's even able to defeat Base Gohan, who recently had been training extremely hard. Base Gohan, who can give Lavender a beatdown even while blinded before his illness kicked in too hard, and Lavender possibly scaling above Basal, who could face literally Majin Buu. Gohan was probably suppressed versus Krillin here and caught off guard, but there's actually proof it might not be as much as you think, so let's get into that. During the Tournament of Power, Krillin and 18 have to face an opponent from an alternate universe named Shosa, and before Krillin joins, 18 actually is losing to Shosa even though he is blind, and even gets knocked on the ground by him at one point despite her starting to take him more seriously. Krillin then jumps in and is actually able to do just as well as 18, if not even a bit better, using his Budokai experience to even learn he can use Shosa's blindness against him, and starts tricking him and using gags on him to get the upper hand. Eventually, Krillin and 18 team up and start bouncing an attack between each other to amplify its power, implying 18 herself wasn't strong enough to do it, needing Krillin. With this amplified attack, they can then defeat Shosa, and Krillin basically gets taken out to take out this Universe Force fighter. Even lowballing 18, she is stronger than Super Saiyans from earlier in the series that can easily annihilate stars and would probably one-shot them, but I'd argue it actually goes much further, as Krillin is stated to actually be the strongest Earthling period in the Tournament of Power and supplemental material, stronger than Roshi and Tien, who are Earthlings in this tournament. He is also clearly relative enough to 18 to combo with her and actually benefit her in fights rather than get in her way. And 18 has some crazy feats later during this tournament. And while Tien doesn't do much, Roshi faces a fighter named Ganos, who in Roshi's own words would actually give Goku and the others a hard time if he is let loose and gets too much stronger. Roshi also even scraps a losing fight against Frost and launches the Mafuba sealing technique at him. And while Frost can reflect the Mafuba technique like Ma Jr. did against Kami, this same Mafuba can seal away Super Saiyan Vegeta, who was just fighting Botamo and Magetta, and Magetta is actually Super Saiyan Vegeta level when he is trying, meaning Roshi's Mafuba might actually been strong enough to do this, assuming Frost didn't amp the wave somehow, but it is just noted as a reflection technique when Junior did it against Kami, not an amp. We know that if someone is too many leagues stronger than you, that the technique just wouldn't work either, and Roshi actually thinks Mafuba would work on Final Form Frost if it landed, not expecting the reflection. This is more supplemental evidence that Krillin might just be up there, but now let's get into 18. 18 eventually straight up takes down Super Ribrianne, and if you watch the anime, you know Ribrianne.
Yo, I hope everybody watching this video also hated her, because during the tournament, bro, she was getting me tight. I'm not gonna lie, bro. She was getting me so mad. That ass whooping she got was so satisfying.
And is actually very annoying for the people in the tournament. And in fact, Vegeta fights her numerous times, and she doesn't ever get knocked off, whether it be in base or against Super Saiyan. She even gives Kabe a hard time at 1.2, who was equal base to Vegeta and the Universe 6.
Did he just say Kabe? Wait, whoa, Seth. Hold on, whoa, Seth, chill. You just said Kabe?
Even gives Kabe a hard...
Yo, Seth, what's going on, bro? Why you just say Kabe? No
time at 1.2, who was equal base to Vegeta and the Universe 6 tournament. And 18 even faces a bit against Annie Raza when all the fighters are suppressed to Super Saiyan level, or in Goku's case, fatigued to Super Saiyan level despite being Super Saiyan God due to his Jiren fight. And 18 is actually still relevant here. Now, this isn't to say Krillin is Tournament of Power Super Saiyan level, but maybe Krillin beating base Gohan was less of a fluke than we all thought it was. Even Goku was actually impressed by him. Now, if Krillin is even remotely strong enough to fight alongside these guys in base or their Super Saiyan forms, and these guys are all literally stronger than Super Saiyan God Goku, who fought Beerus, as Goku absorbed Super Saiyan God into his base state and then surpassed it, then Krillin is probably an absolute menace, as that Goku was going to shatter a macrocosm on accident.
One punch me in the face. You're finished. Battle of the Ball. These Krillin solos. Listen, Krillin solos.
By punching the air. But Krillin gets a Toei plot amp beyond all plot amps in Dragon Ball Super Hero, and in Super Hero, the plot is so strong, Ultimate Piccolo shoots a special beam cannon that Gamma 2 uses a barrier to deflect, and when it splits apart and shoots all over the battlefield, random Red Ribbon Army humans are able to react and run away from the excess energy. But Krillin, alongside Fat Gotenks and 18, can face against a rampaging Cell Max that gives Ultimate Gohan, who could fight Super Saiyan Blue Goku in the anime, and Orange Piccolo a super hard time. The thing that happens in this movie is that due to Cell Max rampaging and throwing his power around kind of randomly and sporadically, he can't use his power very consistently, which allows the others to kind of face him. But even then, he snaps and still can damage Orange Piccolo more often than he cannot, who is as strong as Goku and Vegeta at this point in the series. Yeah, late game Super, apparently Orange Piccolo is just as powerful, in the words of the author himself. Now, I'm not saying Krillin is as strong as Orange Piccolo, but he clearly was in danger here against a not full power Cell Max, and this is just a goofy Dragon Ball Heroes-esque everyone is here to help type moment, but still, pretty much no other Battle Shonen MC could ever do that or even remotely help against Cell Max like Krillin did. So yeah, he's kind of strangely overpowered when you think about it, as no one's doing that. Naruto is not doing that to Cell Max. Ichigo's not doing that to Cell Max. Saitama's not doing that to Cell Max. Luffy's
let's go, come on.
Max. Ichigo's not doing that to Cell Max. Saitama's not doing that to Cell Max. Saitama's not doing that to Cell Max. Luffy's not doing that to Cell Max. None of these characters are doing that to Cell Max, and yet Krillin is actually in this fight, making him angry. Now, Krillin also has a very unique fighting style, but it's not as really interesting as, say, like Vegito or something like that. His main thing is he has a Destructo Disc that we know for a fact can kill or take out people over 13 times stronger than him very quickly. We don't know if Cells could even do that. We know Cell and Frieza can use the technique, but we don't know if it's like the same degree, as Cells was just caught by Super Saiyan 2 Gohan like nothing, although Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was trained to catch it. So maybe he needed the training to counter it. But we do know that the only person who's ever actually tanked it was Perfect Cell against base Krillin. And yeah, Perfect Cell is probably over 13 times stronger than base Krillin, right? So obviously he would be able to tank it. But the other thing that makes him unique is obviously the Solar Flare times 100, which he used on Gohan to overpower him and then defeat him. But the thing about that that's interesting is Krillin was actually outskilling Gohan and at one point even catches Goku off guard. And if you watch my Goku versus Batman video, you know that Goku's actual combat adaptation, it can let him do like thousands of years and or even hundreds
Krillin got a higher battle IQ than Goku? Question mark.
Of years and really just a few minutes of fighting. So Krillin even like tricking or surprising Goku is actually very impressive. But what he did against Gohan is also impressive because you have to remember when Gohan was completely blind against Lavender, he was able to sense the literal millisecond that Lavender's foot was about to touch his hair and then counter him perfectly and actually defeat him. And Gohan is considered the biggest prodigy among the Saiyan trio from the main cast, and Krillin is arguably a better fighter than him. So that is something to consider as well. Now, other than that, guys, that's all there really is to say, other than maybe Krillin maybe having Destructo Disc Barrage that he can spam. But otherwise, if you have any comments or things I should have added, I'd love to hear it. And until next time.
Hey, man. W video as always. The original video is going to be in the link in the description, man. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you got any suggestions for stuff you want me to react to, just drop them down, man. And we out.